be screened medically. And so we'll take your pressure, we'll check your blood sugar and other vitals to make sure that everything is okay with you. So that is how we ended the day. Honorable Adongo talked about the economy, and I'm happy to add my voice to his that our economy has recovered very well. Indeed, a lot of people, including the IMF and the World Bank themselves, cannot believe how fast this recovery has occurred. But it has taken a lot of fiscal discipline. It has taken working at increasing revenue. It has taken, working to cut down waste and all that. And that is what has helped for this recovery. Like you said, indeed the whole of last year, we didn't send any loan agreement to Parliament. Not one loan agreement. In previous years, the main parliamentary business was approving loans. This time, for 1.5 years, actually 1.5 years, until June this year, not a single loan agreement was sent to Parliament. And so it shows you that everything that we've been doing with our own resources. The first loan agreements that have been sent to Parliament are the 300 million World Bank Star J project, that is to end double track in our secondary schools. And the second one is the $500 million feeder roads project. Those are the first two loans since this government assumed office. And so we'll continue to be very prudent in the management of the economy so that it can create the opportunities for our people. Now that we finish the stabilization of the economy, our next focus is on creating jobs and opportunity for our young people. And so growth, we finished stabilization, we're now looking at growth and job creation opportunities. That is our next target. And so because of that, this year the Minister of Finance is going to Cabinet, to Parliament, with a policy we call the new economy. The new economy is selecting 7 sectors of the Ghanaian economy. And every year we're going to, for the next 4 years, every year we're going to invest $2.5 billion in those 7 pillars. But the biggest is agriculture and agro-processing, and that's where the Upper East comes in. Agriculture and agro-processing is going to take 50% of that 10 billion investment. So $5 billion is going to go into agriculture and agro-processing. And I can assure you the Upper East region is going to get its fair share of that $5 billion. So that will cover creating more irrigation facilities so that our young people, even in the rainy season, the dry season, would have the opportunity to be able to produce. The minister told you that Upper East can produce all the vegetables and everything that we eat in this country. And we're not even waiting for that program to start. We've started. We have the tomato revitalization project that is taking place here, which is bringing 2,500 acres of land under tomato production. And the Pualugu tomato factory is going to be the epicenter of it. We're going to rehabilitate the Pualugu tomato factory so that we can process the tomatoes that Upper East is producing to feed the rest of the country. And so we'll finish the Tamni irrigation dam so that the 4 districts in the Boko area can also go into their dry season production, especially onion production, because we know that the Boko area has a comparative advantage when it comes to onion production. We want to cut down the amount of onions we import from Niger. And if we put enough land under irrigation, we should be able to import substitutes and produce our own onions. And so government is going to support that. As he told you, the via irrigation is about 850 acres. It has not been rehabilitated for a long time. So right now we are working on it. And by next year, all the 850 acres will be brought under cultivation. With regards to governance, he told you about the constitutional review. The minister has talked about it soon. I'll inaugurate the Constitutional Review Implementation Committee. And their work is to take the government position paper and the CRC reports and synthesize the two, and then they will divide it into two segments: non-entrenched clauses and entrenched clauses. Non-entrenched clauses, we just need parliamentary approval. So those we will put before Parliament and we will vote and pass them. Entrenched clauses require that we conduct a referendum, and at least 40% of registered voters must vote, and 75% of them must say yes. And so we want to add that to the district assemblies election next year. So next year, apart from voting for your assembly members, you will also be required to vote on the constitutional amendment. And if we vote and it passes, then we will implement the entrenched clauses, amendments to the entrenched clauses. So that's to do with governance. With security and safety, I want to commend the IGP and his men. As the regional minister said, Upper East is safer now than it was before. A lot of the motorbike snatching, armed robbery and others have significantly reduced. That is because of the work the IGP and his people have been doing. And my final one is to commend the traditional rulers and the people of Boko. Boko is finally calm. The guns have stopped sounding, and people are beginning to go about their business. I believe that if this peace continues, Boko will bounce back to its original glory as a major, commercial area of our country. And a lot of the people who left will come back. Teachers left, health professionals left. Indeed, last year we couldn't post national service people to Boko because of the fighting. We couldn't post doctors to Boko because of the fighting. And so I believe that with this peace that we have found, if we continue, Boko will become what it was before. In the meantime, I promise 1 billion cedis for the Boko Revitalization Fund. I'm happy to announce that this week I'm inaugurating the committee. But even before we have inaugurated the committee, some work has started on Boko Town roads, on some health facilities and others. We are devoting the bulk of the money to the health sector and the road sector. We want to improve the road network, the bridges in the Boko area, so that traders and others, farmers can move their goods and services easily. And then also improve the healthcare in the area. And so we'll complete one of the Agenda 111 hospitals there. And then we'll also build a new hospital in Boko itself. And so these are some of the things that we're working on. And so I want to thank you very much for your attendance, and we can go into the interactive segment now. Felix, over to you. No, it's okay.
But Your Excellency, may I kindly ask that you stay with us for a few minutes. At this stage, ladies and gentlemen, we are delving straight into the questions and answer session. In the interest of time, we are only able to take 5 questions in this session. So if you have the questions, just put up your hands. Once you catch my eye, I will call you, and then a microphone will be brought to you to answer your question. Let me start by giving the opportunity to our revered man of God, a member of the clergy, to ask a question.
The lady in a helmet.
In the interest of time, I request that we are very brief.
Okay, so I would like to...
And one question per question.
Straight to the question. There are two questions, but the very first one is just a kind of observation. I would like to thank you very much for the information that has been given in terms of this region. But one of the things I was hoping to hear, especially of what is happening in the region, is about the mining. Because there's a lot of intensive mining going on in our region here. And we would really want to know what the impact is on the region in terms of benefits, but at the same time, also the issues of the destruction of the environment and all that. This is a major issue. I think most often we hear a lot about what is happening down south, but here it looks like the information regarding the impact of mining in the region is still very muted. And I would like to really draw the attention of the government to that. That's my first comment. The second one,
we are only able to take one more from you. With the greatest respect. Yeah.
Allow him.
Okay, please go ahead. Yeah.
Okay.
One more question.
Actually, this is the most important one. This is about the issue about education. In July, there was a government conference on the indiscipline in the schools, organized in Sunyani. And then a week later, we, the Catholic bishops and the Muslims, the Muslim leadership, we had a dialogue, and one of the things that also came out was the same topic, indiscipline in our schools, and how the stakeholders, most stakeholders can be able to handle that. And for us, from our side, we looked at it from the point of view of faith-based organizations, what we can do in order to be able to help. I'm happy the Minister of Education is here, and he's talking about the investment in education, and the children are also here, and I'm very happy about that. But one of the things that I wanted you to really draw the attention is indiscipline in school, because you can feed them, you can give them all that they have, but if there's indiscipline, I think we are not going to go anywhere. And on this note, that I would like to appeal to Mr. President. You know that we have already come to a place regarding the MOU between the government and the faith-based organizations, to be able to see whether we can have our schools back, because you continue to praise the faith-based organizations for discipline in their schools. But when it comes to really allowing us to be able to do this, sometimes we're having challenges, and we don't really know what is helping with holding that. And therefore, I would like to appeal to you, Mr. President, to look at this once more and see what we can do, because we want to help to ensure that our schools are safe and that the children who are coming out are really given the best care that they can need. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your contribution. There's a lady in a helmet behind the microphone. Behind the camera, please give her the microphone. Yeah.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. I'm actually the regional focal person for operational safety and compliance in the Upper East region. Thank you so much, Your Excellency. In line with this, as a safety person, rest in peace to all gone souls who died as a result of in the line of duty. The helicopter crash. Okay, so Your Excellency, I was during the Labor Day speech when you touched on operational health and safety in Ghana. In fact, you said in pursuit of someone's duty, someone is not supposed to die in line of duty. You mentioned that in operational health and safety digitalization of operational health and safety has come to help Ghana generate a lot of revenue. Government sector should have at least one safety officer so that safely. For example, countries that are considered safe in Ghana, we have Sweden, we have Japan, Canada, we have Germany and UK. So it will be interesting and happy to reflect back to know that the President of the Republic of Ghana hand over to a different person, knowing that he has a safe country. His workers are safe, the employees are safe, and the people are able to work and go home safely. Thank you so very much.
There's a gentleman in a smoke to my right. Please hand over the microphone to him.
He's playing
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Your Excellency.
One question and very brief at that.
Yes, thank you very much, Your Excellency. Mine is an appeal. Your Excellency, there is no doubt majority of the Ghanaians are benefiting from the research agenda of your government. However, poverty, unemployment, inequalities are still pronounced, especially in the northern part of the country. We have been told by a number of people, you are the first president to do this, you are the first president to do that. I want to make a humble appeal to you, Your Excellency, to be the first president to make significant public investment in the northern part of the country to unlock the huge development potentials of it so that we can bridge the South-North development gap. I've always felt that if, Your Excellency, you do not make this commitment come to fruition, we may not get an opportunity of someone who lived, born and bred and well versed with the realities in northern Ghana to be able to address the South-North development gap. Your Excellency, during your campaign tour, I had the privilege to present to you a comprehensive master development plan for northern Ghana development. I want to know, to what extent has government attended to this document, which has all that it takes to address poverty, inequalities, deprivations in northern Ghana. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. The next question will be asked by one of our revered traditional rulers. Please hand over the microphone to him.
Thank you so much. My name is Nabatanda Horngorgo Kuguri Asobaire the Fifth. I am the Paramount Chief of Kologo Traditional Area. Your Excellency, Mr. President, when you were mentioning of the roads, I thought maybe I'll just keenly listening. But Kologo Naga Road, Navrungo Kologo Naga Road wasn't mentioned. And when the Minister of Roads was doing it, I didn't hear. Kologo is the only town in Upper East here, one of the biggest paramountcy, without a police station, without a secondary school. Mr. President, I know you will consider me giving me one of the secondary schools that you are going to give to the region. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. The last question will go to a woman in the interest of gender balance. So I see a lady in a hijab at the back there. Please give the microphone to her. Yeah, please go ahead and ask your question. Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. My name is Bariyatu Muhammad Ibrahim. I am a Zabarma by tribe. I'm your boss. Zan tambaye question ne da Hausa zan tambaya, ban son tambaya da Turanci don yau ban shati ba. Da muna use currency. Currency na yana rike da jinyame. Kudin Ghana da yana da value. Tunda aka sake wanga kudi, ba jinyami cikin kudin na. Kudin na ya bar bai da nauyi. Jinyamin na bai important bane ko currency nan ne bai need jinyami cikin. Question da nike da shi tambaya kenan. Amma kana zagin zabarmawa kai hankali na charging ka.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, Mr. President.
The fifth one, eh?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Those were 5 questions. Some were appeals, some were questions, and so I will proceed to address them. Starting with mining. The Upper East region has great potential for mining, especially gold mining, and the Minerals Commission is working to identify all the possible concessions in order that we can set up formalized mines in those areas. The thing is, we have 2 kinds of mining. We have the formalized mining, and then we have the illegal small-scale mining. Illegal small-scale mining, it is difficult to hold them to land reclamation after they have finished. But with the formalized mines, we make them post a reclamation bond, and when they have finished mining, they restore the land to what it was, and they take their money back. If they don't do it, then we use that money to get somebody to reclaim the land, and we use that money to pay them. And so we're doing, not only for the Upper East region, but the whole of the country, formalized mining. You cannot completely ban illegal mining. You just keep chasing them and all that. We are working, NIMOS is working very hard. We've seized excavators, we've seized Shamfan machines, you know, and you drive them out of this area, they run to this other area. But we're making progress. Of the almost 49 forest reserves that were invaded, we've been able to clear as many of them as possible of illegal miners. Before, what we did was, when we clear, we hand over to the Forestry Services Commission. But they don't fear the Forest Service. They go and drive the forest guards out, and they go back into the mine. And so now we put a military detachment. After we clear the forest reserve, we leave a military detachment there. And that means we have to spend more money. One, you must feed the soldiers. You must provide them with the logistics to continue to stay there in the forest. But we won't give up. We'll continue the fight against illegal mining. But Upper East has a good potential, and mining can create jobs, but we need to make sure that these are formalized mines so that they can employ our young people to operate. A few years ago, Cardinal Mine opened in this area, and you should already see the number of people who are working in that particular mine. In Upper West, they have the Black Volta mine development coming up. There are several other areas that we can see the potential for proper mining so that it can produce more jobs for our young people. But our target is to formalize the mining activity so that we have a greater control over it than the current scattered illegal mining that takes place. The advantage with the Upper East region is most of the places where the gold is found in rock. And so it does not create the kind of environmental destruction that we see in the south. The gold is found in rock, and so they blast the rock and they process it and take the gold out. And so it doesn't create the kind of same extent of devastation that we're seeing in the forest in the south. And so that's a fortunate thing. The second question was about indiscipline in schools. The problem is partly technology. When we were growing up, we had value systems that our parents taught us. We had value systems and morality that our religions taught us. If we had to gain any knowledge, we had to go to the library and read books. We used to watch one channel, GBC, and GBC gave us the programs that promote our values and our culture. The children of today have access to knowledge that we couldn't have imagined when we were children. They have the new media, they have AI, they have ChatGPT, they have Netflix TV. Indeed, on that little phone that they have, when you give your child a phone, know that you are opening him up to both positive and negative. So when you give your child a phone, you don't control the phone, put checks on the phone. He is exposed to so much information from across the world, some of which affect his value system. So it goes even beyond our parenting and our morality in terms of our religious faith. And so it's a wider problem than we envision. But they bring these values they take from those gadgets into school. And so in one school, a child takes his father's gun, takes it to school. Apparently the gun is loaded and it discharges. And it injures a girl. She went blind. She had to be flown out. to work on her eyes before she regained her sight. And there are so many acts of indiscipline. Discipline a housemaster, the students and say like attack his house, in some cases burn his house down. This is a problem that we must work together to solve. Both government and the faith-based institutions. We have noted the roadmap that was presented by faith-based institutions, faith-based organizations, to have a greater say in the schools that they established. And government is not averse to it. We are not averse to the faith-based organizations having a greater say in how their schools are managed. And so I can assure you, Reverend Father, that that is a process that is ongoing. And I am a person of faith, and I've done my best to bring my children up based on the values that I was also given. But there are many cases where children break loose and become something else other than what you intended them to be. And so it's something that all of us need to work on. And that is why even the Minister of Communications is proposing to implement a system that prevents children under 16 from visiting certain sites on their phones. If we do that, that will help to protect our children. But like I said, we are not averse to increasing the roles of faith-based institutions, organizations in the running of the schools that they established. Madam gave us a lecture on occupational health and safety. I'm not an expert in that area, so thank you very much for everything that you said. But we've been working with the TUC. Safety is important in any economic activity, not only in factories, but in agriculture. How you handle pesticides, you must follow the rules of handling the pesticides. Otherwise, you can poison yourself, you can poison the crops, and the crops will poison people. If you are operating a heavy-duty machine, you must follow the guidelines for operating the machine. If you are going to move the machine, it is said that you must blow the horn, ping, so that anybody around will move away before you move. Otherwise, you could end up killing somebody or hurting somebody. So occupational safety is in almost every sector of endeavor. And what must happen is, in any of those economic sectors, they must have guidelines for safety. If you go, for instance, to the mines have very strict safety instructions. And if you breach the instructions, you can lose your job for not following the safety guidelines. And if there's an accident on site, they set up an investigation to find out why the accident happened, so that they can put in safeguards so that it doesn't happen again. So it's something we must all take seriously. And like I said, we and organized labor are working on that. Indeed, many of the things we talked about in respect to investments and in respect to what I said about the new economy is going to help bridge that inequality. Because when I talked about agriculture, I said that the Upper East region has a comparative advantage. Not even only the Upper East region, the 5 northern regions have a comparative advantage when it comes to agriculture. And indeed, I said that we're going to make sure that we get our fair share of that $5 billion investment. And so, if you look at the north and the south, we have a comparative advantage in some key sectors. 1, in agriculture. 2, in some places, mining. And so if even we're going to industrialize, we must industrialize based on our comparative advantage. And so we must look at what we produce here and put in the processing capacity to be able to process it and prepare it for the market. And so that is where the focus and the target is going to be. We have the share industry. We must build more share processing facilities. Indeed, we built one in Bupe. It was working perfectly. After we left and our cousins came and took it, that factory, by the time we came, it had been run down. The raw materials were sold, the capital was spent, and the factory is standing there. And so the North's ability to come out of poverty and to balance out the equality is to take advantage of the comparative advantages we have. And that means that we must make sure there's more water provided, there are more roads so that we can evacuate the food early. We have extension officers who will provide advice to farmers. We must build more farmer service centers here so that our people can have access to mechanization services. So I can assure you that a lot of investment is coming in. But even before the new economy, if you look at the distribution of key projects in the health sector and the education sector, if you do the analysis, you'll find out the majority of those projects are coming into the 5 northern regions to balance out the inequality. And so it's something that we are doing deliberately because it is in the interest of Ghana for us to balance out the inequality. Otherwise, what is happening is there's a steady drift of population to the south. And when that population drifts, then it puts more pressure on the social services in the south. It's not in anybody's interest. So it's in the interest of the south for the north to develop so that our population can balance out. And it's not us who are saying it. It was captured by the African peer review mechanism. The geographical imbalance between the north and south, the African APRM, when it was done in Kufuor's time, the first time the report was published, it said government must work to balance the inequality between the northern part of the country and the southern part of the country. And so since then, a lot of investments have been made. And I can assure you, during my term of office, we'll make sure that we even increase the investments in education, in health, in agriculture, in the 5 northern regions of this country. With regards to Chief, I think Chief was appealing. When you read the list, he said Kologu Naga Road was not mentioned. So you are directed to add it to the list. It is a presidential directive. In front of all these witnesses, you are directed to add Kologu Naga Road to the list. And the Minister of Education is also directed to ensure that Kologu gets a senior high school. Thank you, Chief. If you don't cry your cry, nobody will cry it for you. And finally, the issue of the currency. She has it in Hausa, so many people might not have understood. She's asking, she says that the strength of the currency was affected when the currency notes were changed. And you know, the Jinyame symbol was put there, and then the 6 wise men heads were put on the currency. And so she says that since that time, the currency, the susum, is not, she can't feel it. What happens is, every country, every 10 years, you are supposed to refresh your currency. Because if you use the same currency for too long, people learn how to counterfeit it. So from time to time, you have to change the security features on your currency and refresh the currency so that it will take another 5 years, 6 years for the counterfeiters to be able to determine the security features and now start being able to produce their own currency. And so this particular currency is long overdue for refreshing. I know the governor has plans to refresh the currency, and I'm sure that at the appropriate time the Bank of Ghana will let Ghanaians know what they are doing about it. And I hope that whatever refreshed currency comes, will have the spiritual strength that she has been asking for. But what I must say is that the cedi today is stronger than it was in the past because of good economic management. Your currency is as strong as your economic management. And because of the good policies we put in place, the cedi is holding its own against other major currencies. And so we'll continue to make sure that the economy bolsters the strength of the cedi. But like I said, at the appropriate time, the governor will apprise us of any plans that he has for replacing the currency. So thank you. I think that's the last question.
Please spare us a little bit more of your time, because the members of the Upper East Weavers Association, Weavers Association, they say they have a presentation for you because you boasted their trade with the way that you marketed the fugu in Zambia and elsewhere when you traveled outside of this country, and they deeply appreciate the overwhelming endorsements that you give them. And so I want to present you with these 2 smokes as a token of appreciation.
Thank you so much, Excellent President of the Republic of Ghana. I am Priska Nambomi Yenzi, the Regional Director for Upper East Regional Museums and the Queen Mother for Napalek Nangodi Traditional Area. On behalf of the Bolgatanga Weavers, the Bolgatanga Sumasin Weavers Association, I bring you warm greetings with respect and gratitude. Your Excellency, we remember with pride that during your visit at Nat Hall, we made a request that you make our Goran Tane a national asset when you become a president. Yes, indeed, you have become the president, and you have made our request feasible by declaring Wednesday as a day for everyone in Ghana to wear Goran Tane. Today, we are here to say thank you for making our dream and hard work fruitful. And as a sign of our appreciation, we are honored to adorn you with Goran Tane. We hereby invite our Honorable Minister to join us to do us the honor in this.
Let's go.
Thank you. Okay. It's Lewis on this one. Thank you so much, Your Excellency. We present this to you not just for beauty or for decoration or just for looking good. We present it to you because it represents our culture, our identity, and the hard work of Bolgatanga Sumasim Weavers Association. We do this so that the whole nation would see that Bolgatanga is your home. Your Excellency, we believe in your vision and hard work. We are ready to work with you. Get us closer than we are by making support and funding opportunities easily accessible to us. Your Excellency, Baraka, Tipo Osia, Info Osia, Mungode, Akele, Akpe, Oyuawodo. Thank you. Next.
Thank you very much, Bolgatanga Weavers Association. All right. Thank you very much, Your Excellency. You may now resume your seat. we are almost at the end of this program, and I have the privilege to invite the newly minted Minister for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs to give us a short vote of thanks. The Honorable Mahama Ayariga.
Your Excellency, Honorable Ministers of State, led by the host regional minister, the President of the Upper East Regional House of Chiefs, and his grand entourage of chiefs, our host, the Reverend Isudanava, and the various leaders of the Catholic Church present here and all the different denominations represented here, honorable members of parliament, students, traders, public servants, heads of the security agencies present, municipal, metropolitan chief executives, and their various heads of departments who are represented here, our women groups, our party women leaders who are here in their numbers, our friends in the media, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I believe we would have liked this event to continue as we are getting more enlightened about the various activities, programs, projects that the government of President John Dramani Mahama is implementing in the Upper East region to make life better for our people. Unfortunately, every good thing must come to an end. And so this great gathering has come to an end, and we must appreciate everyone who has put in some effort to make this gathering a great success. So we thank the President himself for flying and driving all the way from Accra to come to his natural second home after Bole. I must tell a story today. As a young man, I grew up in Bolga. The first time I set eyes on President John Dramani Mahama was when I was on vacation as a university student, and I don't know if at that time he was a deputy minister for communication. He came to Bolga, and just by GBC, I know when I used to have a spot there. And as a young person, I saw him. He came and sat there, and some other friends came and joined him. They were having a bottle of beer and enjoying themselves and chatting. And I was seeing him for the first time in my life. Haven't seen him on television several times defending the policies and programs of the National Democratic Congress government. And I was so full of admiration for him that I lived my whole life trying to emulate and copy and be just like him. And today, I must say, I'm happy that God has somehow gotten our paths to meet, and I am one of his most loyal and faithful servants. And so we thank him very much for continuing to have Upper East at heart, loving Upper East, and making sure that in sharing the national cake, he, in principle, ensuring that there is a fair balance in the distribution of the resources, and Upper East is getting a fair share of it. We want to thank the host regional minister, who I will soon be working with as his local government minister, and to thank the DCEs and municipal chief executives who have all helped to ensure that this gathering is a success. I want to thank the chiefs who have ensured that they've poured the relevant and necessary and adequate libation for the president to be able to carry out his 2 days tour successfully. I want to thank the students who have come here. Some of them are writing examinations, but when they heard their president is in the Republic, they have stopped everything to come and hear the vision that the president has to make their lives better, to secure them a good future and make them great citizens in the future. I also want to thank the security agencies. The president thanked you already for the good job that you are doing in Boku, the good job that you are doing in the Upper East that has made Upper East a safer place than he came and met it. I believe that everybody deserves to be thanked individually, but we cannot mention all of you. So please, all of you are appreciated. We thank you so much for being here, spending time to listen to the president, taking in the message, and I believe that when you go back to your various communities, you will even work harder to ensure the success of Ghana as a project. Your Excellency, we thank you very much.
Thank you very much, the Honorable Mahama Ayariga. We have come to the end of today's event. But before we depart, I will entreat all of us to stand as we take the national anthem. We draw the curtains down on today's program at this juncture. Thanks for coming.